Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome back to the Today Show. We're talking all things cricket today, specifically South African cricket with some superstars of the sport. It's been my absolute pleasure to be chatting with Ashraf Ali, who's in the studio with me, but also on the line with us we have South African superstar JP Duminy and also English World Cup winning superstar Moeen Ali. It's a real pleasure. What a panel I've got to work with here today. We're talking about this beautiful new facility in Cape Town that is going to be a multi-purpose sports facility supporting grassroots cricket. There's a dinner coming up at Lord's in the beautiful, iconic Long Room. It's in a couple of days' time on the 18th of June, but it's sold out. Is that right, Ashraf?
Sold out.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
But there's still ways for people to support this initiative and maybe contribute to future developments.
Yeah. So the intention was to get the audience there and share about the story, pull the heartstrings, make them understand why we, as we just sat here and casually spoke about it, that's what we want to do on Wednesday. Speak about the challenges that, not only in South Africa, it's globally.
Yeah.
But obviously we're taking the lead to try and make a difference. So we want to speak to them and we want to call on people to call to action, basically, and pledge whatever it is, you know, time, money. We need from everything. And we have a team behind us. It's not just about Ashraf Ali and Cape Flat Sports Academy. We've got an amazing team. Uthando Esse, led by James Fernie, has been instrumental in us getting to this point. And there's so many other organizations, you know, the professional team, Natural Building Collective, that has put the concept together and has done the first two facilities that we've spoken about.
I'm still thinking about the using of repurposed material. This is extraordinary.
I was blown away.
Yeah. Do you know, I went on comedy tour a few years ago with a South African comedian called Riyad Musa.
Yes.
And the minute you said that, I started thinking about the times where I would absent-mindedly leave my litter behind. And Riyad was very, very polite. He's a dad, you know, so he has those dad habits. He just very politely walks over, grabs all the rubbish, makes sure he puts it away in the trash, and puts it all in the proper recycling bins. I feel like South Africa's, you know, there's a lot of responsibility in South Africa. Just as there's responsibility on you two gentlemen, you absolute, you know, giants of the sport, I think I can say, based on your phenomenal achievements. Moeen, I would kick myself if this whole show passed and I didn't get a chance to ask you about your hair, because it's been a big topic of discussion for the Birmingham Bears, for whom you're playing in the Vitality Blast. You know, people have been talking about this iconic look, all these promo shots you must have done with the shorter hair, you know, the sort of close crop, grade 1, grade 2, and now you've grown it back. You've gone back to sort of mowing.
I used to go zero. I used to go zero a lot of the time. I actually feel strange when I run my head through my hair, my hands through my hair. But yeah,
so what's going on? Have you got like a gel endorsement deal? What's going on?
No, just got the transplant done and then that's it.
That's it?
I just thought I'd give it a go. Have the option is my theory on it.
Because you had early in your career, you had the long hair. You know, you sported the long hair for a while.
I used to have real long hair. So when I used to have real long hair.
Yeah.
Then I shaved it and I shaved for a while. Then I let it grow again a little bit. And it's been a very long time since I was able to let my hair grow.
Well, since you've gone from short hair to long hair, the price of shampoo and conditioner has gone up a lot. So just be ready for that.
So I now got to have shampoo for my top and this bit.
Yes, of course, the beard shampoos as well. Beard shampoo as well. It's interesting, the influence that a player like that can have. Because I know for a fact there's young kids who, you know, they look at the appearance of players as well. Especially like yourself, Moeen, because obviously you're a cricket legend, no doubt about it. World Cup winner, you know, done amazing things in the sport. But you're one of those players, and I think you know this. You know, you've transcended that whole thing and become like a cultural phenomenon, particularly for South Asian kids, for Muslim kids around the world. Like that, the weight of that responsibility. Just describe that to me a little bit.
I think initially I just played, and it was people almost putting that tag on, especially when I was more established in the side. I just played, actually, probably 45% of my career, 75% of the time of my career, the initial bit was I was always just playing and trying to be the best I can and just perform. And only maybe after you kind of realize that the influence you're having on kids and people coming up to you saying, I play cricket because of you or whatever it is. And I think that for me is the most special thing, and the things that I probably cherish more as a player. That you're making a difference, and people support you, and when you're going down the road, they're happy to see you, and for me, that's massive. I think that's huge.
It really is. It's humble as described, as advertised, humble all the way through, Moeen. Very, very. It's great stuff. It really is. And I think it's wonderful that that's where you get your gratification from. Just the fact that it's such a simple thing to say, JP. I don't know how you feel about that. He just said, like, it's just nice that people are happy to see you when you walk down the road. You're a superstar. You've contributed so much to South African cricket as a player, as a coach, as somebody who clearly loves the sport and has a passion for cricket, specifically South African cricket. How do you respond to the kind of mania about your fans?
I see it as a huge privilege, and I think there was a certain shift in mindset for me, I would say, in the last third of my career, where the understanding of it's not just about yourself, it's about others. So, when you represent 60 million people in South Africa, there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. So as much as you appreciate the glory and the glitz and the glamour, that everything and all that goes with playing international cricket, how do you serve, your community and your people with the credibility that you get given? And that was something that the people around me, the influential people around me, that really just continually reminded me of that, kept my feet on the ground, and making sure that even now that I'm done playing and in the coaching rounds and in the broadcast rounds, it's still literally, because you get acknowledged and noticed from time to time, it's still having time for people. It was this concept really around, if you can give your full commitment to 5 to 10 seconds of your time when somebody is asking for an autograph or a picture, you have no idea the impact that will have on that person. That moment might change their life because they see you as a hero, as a role model. So how are you going to utilize that moment to change lives? And I'll never forget that concept, and it's still stuck with me till today. Even like walking around Lords, there was so many South Africans supporting South Africa a few days ago in the Test match, and just having that aura and that moment to just connect with people was certainly one of the special occasions for me, walking around the stadium, still getting acknowledged for the impact that you've had on South African cricket. But more importantly, we're celebrating together what was happening on that field, which was truly amazing.
It truly was. And, I've got to get your thoughts on, as a coach, sort of modern challenges as well, because, often, you do a show like this, you got cricketers on, and this show's not always about cricket, obviously. There's so many things discussed on the Today Show, but, the generic thing is, like, what advice would you have to young people looking to get into the game? I'm not going to ask you that. What I'd rather ask you is how young people navigate the new challenges of the game. I mean, we've got Moeen on the show, and, Ashraf has probably worked with so many young people over the years. The challenges, I feel like, have broadened. They've morphed and broadened, like, for new athletes coming in. I mean, like, if you're a superstar like yourself or Moeen, small microscopic things you do get blown way out of proportion. Now there's social media, there's criticism. I mean, we've seen what football players are subjected to in this country when England don't win or they lose a big game or something like that. And it's the same for cricketers. That criticism can be quite biting. How much of your work now as a coach is about managing sort of that mental side, not just on the mental side of cricket, off the pitch?
What comes to mind for me around that question is the question of identity. So, I've had opportunities now to coach from a national standpoint as well as in the leagues. And I think the challenge that a lot of cricketers face these days is quick gratification. So you play short format cricket, and all of a sudden you get 200s in a row. Your name gets blasted up across the media, and all of a sudden everybody is chanting for you to get an IPL contract and so forth. But I think when I come back to this idea of identity is who are you? So as a cricketer, it's not who you are, that's what you do. So there's a lot more to you than just being a cricketer. And I think that's the conversation that I like to start with whether it's a Moeen, Allie, or whether it's a youngster that I'm conversing with, is trying to understand who the person is. So how do I connect with that person first, and then you obviously connect with the cricketer? Because people, cricketers in general, when you take an interest in who they are, there's a connection, and that then transcends into possibly helping them achieve greater things within their career. But coming back to this idea of quick gratification, I think about what we just witnessed now from a South African standpoint in red ball cricket. And I think Moeen will agree, it's still the truest form of the game.
Yes.
And it's what catapults you to be able to achieve great things in white ball cricket and short format cricket. So we still want to encourage the youngsters of today to come in and still want to play the longer format of the game, because that is the true nature. But it's always this question of identity. Who are you? If you can answer that with authenticity, I think it goes a long way in what you can achieve in the future. But more importantly, when you achieve that with a sense of humility and understanding of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely, and I could see everybody actually nodding along with yourself about these challenges, and like being true to that. Like you just mentioned, young players. There was a young man called Vaibhav Suryavanshi who scored a century in the IPL this year, and initially it was reported he was 14 years old. Some people questioned his age. Frankly, I think if you can score the fastest century in the history of T20 cricket, it doesn't really matter if you're 14 or 18 or whatever he actually is. But a young player like that, Moeen. I mean, you're like a senior player. I think more than a senior player. You walk into any of these T20 dugouts, you're a legend. People know who you are. You come across a player like a Vaibhav Suryavanshi. What do you say to them? What kind of advice do you give them? These players on the cusp of superstardom who've been given a bit of that gratification that JP's been talking about.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy, but at the same time, it's pretty difficult, because I think you can easily say to a youngster like that, just keep going, put, with that intent, go out there, just play your game, etc. But that might not be necessarily good for him. What almost you want to say is, it's a great knock and you're up player and you got lots of talent. But the game, it doesn't always work out like that. And it doesn't always, there's a lot of bad days, basically, in cricket. There's a lot more bad days than good days. But also with him playing, or someone like him playing a lot, they're going to learn they're going to have their own journey and they're going to learn their own way. So, but you're just trying to help, give them a bit of a head start a lot of the time. It's not easy. Cricket's not easy. There's a lot of difficult days. And that's why we're coming back to JP's point is Test cricket is the reason why I know everyone says this, but it's the reason why it's called Test cricket. It's very hard. It's very testing. It tests you in all aspects of your life, off the field and on the field. And I always try and advise, I'm sure JP is the same, young players to think about more the longer format of the game, because the shorter format then will take care of itself. A lot of the time, your basics are good in red ball than they are in white ball, but you do occasionally get the odd player who's just unbelievably talented. Like you said, doesn't matter if it's 14 or if it's 38. If you're scoring 100 like that in the IPL, there's something special about you. And someone like him, he is special. So, and you get a lot more players like that who are just given the chance quicker than they probably would have done 10 years ago. So it is great to see, but also you kind of know that it's just the cricket. If you get too big-headed or a bit over your station, it will bite you in the backside.
Yeah, it's very important to stay grounded, and it's something that you've done exceptionally well over the years, Moeen. It's probably because you don't use social media, I was going to say. It's one of the things, if you're on your social media during a match, during a test match, and it's hard enough, I imagine, when you finish a game of T20 cricket, you finally get your phones back after the match because you can't have them during the match, and then you get them after back, and you just have to read about people's opinions. Like people like me just sitting there on the end of our phones judging you, and like, oh, what an atrocious shot outside the off stump, and you got to somehow put that behind you and move on. Over 5 days. I would say that the genre of test cricket, it's been much discussed, how to protect it, what to do with it, whether it's going to be relevant. People are still going to be interested. The purists love it, but do the casual cricket fan love it? But what South Africa did at Lord's this weekend, Ashraf, I mean, that in and of itself, for me, it's such an inspiring moment. I feel like a lot of people who watch that will feel like this is something special.
Definitely. And I had the privilege of being there. And like JP, the emotion of the past challenges of, not getting it over the line.
Yes.
All that just evaporated. And it was that moment where you just felt a different feeling. You could feel, and I think it's with, the sports with our nation brings us together.
Yes.
And I know we have lots of challenges, as JP said, but in that moment, you just feel united, and you use that energy to continue going forward. And I think if we continue it in that vein, and it's not only what we are doing, it's what others are also doing in our country. And globally, there's so many that's trying to do good. And I think, working together, being united, it's a small step in the right direction to make a change in society. And that's what's exciting for me. And it's exciting for us to have individuals like JP and Moeen to be next to us.
I tell you what, it's been very exciting to have the three of you on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen. Just before I let you all go, I would have asked you about who you think is going to win the next T20 World Cup. But since we're talking about Test cricket, let me ask you a much harder question, just a light one before we finish things off, okay? South Africa's just won the World Test Championship. The next cycle starts almost immediately. So there's another 2-year cycle, and we're going to have another World Test Championship. We don't know where the final's going to be yet. Probably England, but it might be somewhere else. Might be in India. It could be anywhere, right? Who do we think are going to be the two finalists in that World Test Championship final? I'm going to put JP on the spot first. JP, come on then. Who are your two finalists?
Come on, let's go with England and South Africa. Why not?
Oh, that's exciting. I like that. I immediately think about sort of Alan Donald versus Michael Atherton. That's what comes to mind. I love that. Moeen, who'd you think?
I was actually going to say exactly the same thing. But I'll have to choose someone different. So I'm going to say, I'm actually going to go India, South Africa.
India, South Africa. It's a safe bet. India go quite deep usually. Ashraf, what do you think?
So how long is the cycle?
2 years.
2 years. Are you sure? 2 years?
Well, it's not officially ratified, but that's the expectation because the previous ones have been 2 years.
I would go with South Africa, England, and then 2 or 3 boys comes from the
from the academy, yeah?
From the
you think, okay, you've got enough time to get people through the academy?
Yeah, why not?
I love that.
Some of them are developed already. We just need to get them.
What I love about that is that you've beautifully brought us to the perfect segue before we finish the show to talk about the academy and how people can support it. Mine is Pakistan and India, by the way. There's a controversial one. Go for it. It's not going to happen. Ashraf, but just before we finish the show, please do tell us how people can support this fantastic initiative.
If you follow our socials, there's our website. Details are there, and you just go onto the website and follow the prompts, and there's a donation button. And if you feel this is something that you want to invest, become a custodian of the facility, whatever amount is affordable, then donate towards the
cause. And if you're ever visiting South Africa, if you're visiting Cape Town, go have a look.
And come have a look. Yeah. And I think it's not just a South African thing. It's a partnership between two different nations, England and South Africa, because the cultural programs that we're planning is very vital. So even the youth of the UK has an opportunity to come over to South Africa and vice versa. And I think Moeen won't mind if I say he's a product of a cultural exchange program. And what better, role model to use than Moeen? And like I said, JP himself, had people around him that guided him and got him to this level. And I think this is what our youth requires and needs. And we've got good people, and we've got organizations that's come on board. Oasis Christian Management, they've come on board. They've supported this gala dinner. They've put us in touch with this channel, and we're partnering. The particular channel is our partner, our media partner.
Wonderful.
So those type of partnerships are vital for us to go forward. And there's so many more, but we'll give them the necessary acknowledgements on the night and going forward.
Well, we wish you the very best here at Islam Channel with the project. We think it sounds fantastic. We're absolutely thrilled, and of course, we wish you gentlemen the very best as well with the Moeen Ali, Cricket Academy, with JP Duminy Foundation. Like the amazing work that you gentlemen do. You are brilliant ambassadors of this sport we all love so much. So I wish you all the very best. My thanks to Moeen Ali, to JP Duminy, to Ashraf Ali. What a wonderful panel of guests we've had. Sadly, that brings us to the end of today's show. It's been wonderful to have a cricket discussion with such esteemed company. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It was such a pleasure to be back on Islam Channel this evening. evening and share this show with you. Inshallah, I'll be back again very soon, and stay tuned here for more wonderful content on Islam Channel. We'll be back tomorrow with another Today Show. But for now, from me, Atif Nawaz, Assalamu alaikum.